So good evening. I'm going to read from John 10:10, and it says, "The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly." Today I read that when I was sitting at my desk. I was supposed to be reading Psalms 34, and I actually was supposed to be doing a lot of other things, but I always find myself going into scripture. I have it posted at my desk. I have printouts folded up. Um, I keep scripture. I keep it for a lot of different reasons, to encourage me, to encourage others, and it's something I've been doing for a long time in my life. When I look in my journals from the time I was like 14, I have diaries, and up until today, I journal, and I find that no matter what I was doing in my life, where I was at, no matter who I was with, I always knew and always believed in God, and I always had a hunger and not necessarily a thirst, but I always wanted to know more. And so I always read, and not just the Bible, but I've read a lot of things. I've read the Torah, I've read the Quran, I've read Jehovah Witnesses literature. I've read literature from just about every place because I deal with everybody. And everybody believes in something. Even if you don't believe, then you believe in the fact that you don't believe. And so it always amazes me when I meet people who they don't believe. And that I don't have a problem with. You know, you like blue, I like black. You like tea, I drink coffee. We have to so get past making people wrong, or ostracizing people, or putting people in huge not even huge, that was wrong, and putting people in places that are way over here because they don't adhere to our beliefs. A lot of times it could be how we're living our lives. Like if our lives are not lining up with our words, then why would anybody want to come and, as my pastor taught on this week, taste and see? You know, if you're eating and you're frowning and your food is too hot, or it's too spicy, it's too salty, it's too cold and it should be warm, or it just don't taste good, but you are sitting there and you are just grubbing it, you getting it in, and you're wondering, the person sitting next to you telling you they're not only telling you they're hungry, you know they're hungry. You can see their rib cage, but they are not asking for your food. There's a reason. Because you don't look like you're enjoying your food. You look like your food is drudgery. You look like, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm devouring this because it was a plate, it was made for me. I'm going to enjoy it. But that's not how we're supposed to live our lives, you know, as Christians. It's like being a mom. You know, there are days, there are moments, and it does not get easier because they get older. But if you always walking around talking about the disadvantages, or the things you missed out on, or the things you have to do, or the things you have to give up, or the things you can't do as a result of being a parent, it's not saying a lot to the person who is around you that might want to be a parent. You know, it's not all drudgery. It's a choice too. You know, at the end of the day, depending on our situations, for a lot of us, parenting was a choice. And I'm not saying that you should not be honest, be transparent, and be clear. But you might want to spend more time having conversations or acknowledging the good things. Your kids, they woke up this morning. They got their clothes on. They went to school, and they may not have passed the test, but they sat in class and they took the test. They came home. You know, they're so unappreciative. Well, what are you teaching them? You know? And then the people you're allowing to let be a part of their lives, especially when they're young. When kids get a certain age, we really don't have control. And I'm moving away a little bit from the point I was making earlier with John 10:10, but at the same time I'm there: the steal, the kill, the destroy. Control is an illusion, you know, and I'm going to get pushback from that, but really think about this. When you have the ability to tell somebody to do something and they do it, at a certain age they do it because they know, okay, I got to listen to mom, I got to listen to dad. But if you get a person who is willing to suffer or willing to go along with whatever the consequences are, then you no longer have control. Control again is an illusion, even with a child. A child who does not like to be disciplined, who does not like to be spanked, or who doesn't like punishments, who just doesn't like to be in trouble, they're going to listen to everything you say. But once you get a child who says, I can survive that spanking, that timeout is only 10 minutes, but I was able to do what I had to do. Once people start to see that they can do things and they can kind of not get away with it, but they can survive the consequences, then they make a choice. Do I want to deal with the consequences? If not, then I'm not going to make that choice. But if I don't have a problem with it, I'm going to stay out late. Because the only thing that's going to happen to me is I'm going to have to hear some yelling. They may take my phone from me. They may cut my Wi-Fi off. But eventually it'll come back on. Because how many parents, when they come home, they sit, talk with their kids, interact with their kids, spend time doing things that you had to do 20 or 30 years ago. If you're my age, I'm 50. So 35 years ago, 40 years ago, that didn't exist. Me and my siblings, we played, we went outside, we came in the house, we sat, we talked, we ate dinner together every day. There was interaction. But now things are a lot different. People aren't different, but the objectives are different, goals are different, responsibilities are different, roles have not changed. It's not about, is a single parent home. My mother was a single parent, but there were boundaries and there were rules. But again, John 10:10, the thief came to kill, to steal, and to destroy. But the following sentence says that he came that we would have life more abundantly. And just for another minute or so, I want to go to the abundant part. It just isn't abundance in money. Because you can have a lot of money, but if you don't know how to manage it, not only are you broker, you're in more debt, you just put yourself in a situation mentally that is unreal. And I've seen it a lot of times, and I have experienced certain things firsthand. So abundant, don't always look for the finance, but don't be so lax in life where you go, I don't care about money. You got to have some concern because you have to pay bills. Unless you're a trust fund child, and I have not had the pleasure of meeting, working with, going to school with, doing the hair of, working at the city with, there is nothing I've done in my travels where I've met a person who did not have some sort of responsibility. But there are people who just decided, I'm going to check out with responsibilities. So it's one thing to not make it a priority, and it's a whole nother thing to check out. But abundance is not just about money. Abundance has to do with your health as well, your peace, your well-being, what you're sowing into other people. And it's so true. Again, no matter what your religious beliefs are, there are principles that are across the board. And sowing and reaping is one of them. No matter what you read, what you believe, how you phrase it, what you put out is what you get back. And you may not see it. Your children may see it. Your spouse might see it. The other people who are connected to you might see it. But at some point, everything we say, everything we do sows a seed. And so abundance can come in the form of health. And at this point, and again, not just because I'm 50 that I go, my health is really important to me. I never like feeling sick, even as a youngster. And I really don't remember being sickly. Me and my sisters, we were not sickly. So I can say to you, the times that I get sick, even a common cold, I despise it. And I find myself either writing, reaching out to my prayer partners, and they will tell you I go in for a common cold, because it is amazing how when you wake up and your body is not responding the way it did the day before, but you still have today's task ahead of you, there's something not good about that. Your focus is off. You have a migraine, you have allergies, you have some type of cold, just whatever it is. And we're not even going to get into the sicknesses. But health is like really important. So what you're putting into your body, the rest that you're getting, and you're looking at a person who is really attempting to rest better, because that affects your thought process, how you respond to people, even how you look. You could be feeling good, but it's amazing how all up in here, you don't get that sleep. It's just there. It's important. So again, abundance is not just about money. You want to sow into people's lives. You don't want to be in a situation where somebody has a need and you're aware of it, and then you don't do what you can, especially if you have excess. Excuse me. If you have excess, and if you don't, then you know somebody. The thing I always tell people is, especially at my job, I have a career, I have a job. At my job, people call every day, and I find, just putting this out there now, all of a sudden I get all the operator calls. I don't know why and how that happened, but I get those calls now, and I'm sure there's a reason. But one of the things I say every single day, at least 50 times a day, is I'm here to help you. I came to work to work. And if I do not know the answer to the question you're asking me, I'm going to find out who does. You know what I mean? Things like that are important, and people are really appreciative of that. So no matter how I'm feeling, I honestly try to be cognizant. I try to be aware that whoever's on that other line, no matter how they're sounding, I don't know what they're going through. And I do have my moments, my days, I have those minutes, but something always, there's a resolve in me to always sow kindness into people. And anybody who interacts with me knows that. And if I'm off, I have complete strangers who deal with me where they say hi and bye, because they're just doing a transaction. But I can say to you, when I'm doing a transaction with somebody and I'm a little off, those people who never talk to me will say, is everything okay today? Because you're normally blah, blah, blah. And just last week it happened, and I had to tell them I wasn't feeling well. And they said, I knew something was wrong, because you're always effervescent. Now, mind you, they do not talk back to me. They don't really engage. But people are human. They look for the connection, and maybe some people don't know how to connect. And that's something I had to learn a long time ago. Don't take it so personal. I tell my kids that when we're in church, especially, you walk past somebody, you say hello, and it's amazing how many times you could be out in a service. You could be at your church, visiting a church. You could be in a prayer group. You could be at a gathering. You could be in a store. You could be at school, at work. But my kids they are on it. They'll go, Mom, that person they looked me right in the face and I said hi and they didn't even speak back. And then they'll have their comments because they're their mother's child. Apples don't fall far from the tree. And there are instances where I will address somebody and I'll go, excuse me, you didn't hear me? And even I have to go, wait a minute, Pam. They didn't even have to speak. They don't have to speak because you spoke. You don't know what's going on in their life. And how about a lot of people are not used to people speaking to them. And a lot of people are not used to you speaking and not wanting nothing. And a lot of people are not used to strangers speaking to them. And a lot of people want to know, why are you speaking to me? Really. True story. I was visiting someplace, saw this woman. Every time I see her in that environment, she was like, oh, whatever. Just so happy. How you doing? Good to see you, sis. I saw this woman at a bank, and I always tell this story. I walked past the woman. I said, how you doing today? She said, excuse me, do I know you? And I told her where I knew her from. She changed. I said, oh, it's too late. I said, why would you even ask me if you knew me? All you had to do was say hi. But again, if you take people out of their element, it's like seeing a person in uniform. Now they don't have it on. They walk past you. You might speak, you might not. But familiar. So again, abundance, sowing into people, acknowledging people. And, it's not about prying or pushing. And as a woman, You know, that's a natural, I won't say tendency, but we are nurturers. And it's, you know, it's very natural for me anyway. When I see somebody, hear somebody, I watch more for the body language than I do for what's coming out of your mouth. Most people don't say what's here and here, but their body tells everything. And it doesn't mean I'm not always right. It doesn't mean I can't be wrong, but a lot of times I'm right. And so intuitively, I address them based on what they're giving off. And a lot of times I've sold that into them, and the person or the group of people are very happy. And again, to go back to the person who normally doesn't speak, but when I'm not feeling well and I'm not effervescent, who addresses that, that person then lets me know. They look forward to that. And it's no secret. I work in a small environment and everyone can hear what's being said, and they always hear people saying that. They come in, and partially is to interact with me, partially is to, especially early in the morning, they're like, my God, you're so on early. Well, I'm a morning person, you know. One. Two, again, I leave everything at home. No matter what's going on in my life, if it's that pressing, then I'm staying home. But I go to work and I just don't try to be something. I sow. I sow that because I know that's part of the abundance. I know that my health, I know that the peace, I know that just positioning myself so that I can be something I didn't used to be to people. You know, it's one thing to be the nemesis, but now you are the catalyst. Now you are the encourager. Now you are the way maker. And it gets heavy sometimes. But at the end of the day, you know, that's what we're put here for. Again, no matter what you believe, we're all conduits to other people's lives. We all affect somebody. And I just wanted to share that, yeah, John 10:10, you know, we know the enemy comes, and the enemy can come in any kind of form. You could be your own enemy, you know, and sometimes we are. We are our own worst enemy. It's not somebody with a, you know, cloaked, hooded. It's not something you can't see. It's the person in the mirror. But we know to steal, to kill, and to destroy. You know, steal your dreams, kill your imagination, destroy the things that you've put out in the atmosphere that you're trying to do. But I'm here to remind you of that last sentence, that Jesus said he came that we would have life and have it more abundantly. So what is your abundantly? You know, what are you doing with your abundantly? I'm going to look forward to interacting with you guys tomorrow. And I'm so glad of the imperfections, because I'm an imperfect person, flawed. I judge sometime when I shouldn't and call it something else. And then I get convicted and go, oh yeah, maybe I was judging. But I do know this. I love the Lord. I believe. Not simply because it was something that was taught, because again, I was introduced to a lot of things. But this is the thing. This was the thing that I tasted, and I like the way it tastes. And I eat daily from that plate. And again, will I go to other plates? Do I sit down with my friends and my associates and my family members who believe in other things? I absolutely do. You know, you have to. When I break bread, there are times people sit at the table and I'll say, what do you normally do? And when they tell me, I'm like, wow. So do what you do. Invite me into your world. Show me something. Don't let me be oppressive to you based on what I believe, because I'm not going to let you be oppressive to me. Let's learn from each other, because at some point you may have tried to live this particular way and somebody turned you off or something turned you off. I may have tried what you do and it was the same thing. And now we're both where we are, sitting across the table from each other, honoring each other, wanting to learn from each other. And although we believe in something a little differently, we still believe. So with that said, again, John 10:10. Remember what the thief came to do. You know, thieves don't just come at night, they come at daytime, and they come when you're home. Some people are bold. You in the shower and they are in your room taking everything. Because it might have been somebody you invited in, okay? But in any event, God bless you. Thank you for listening. No matter what your comments are, they're your comments. No offense, no judgment. I'm going to laugh at some things. I might even cry. But at the end of the day, I'm going to thank God for the opportunity to do this. And I'm going to wish anyone who listens to this well. And my hope is that you would wish the same thing for me. Because remember, what you put out is what you get back. And if not you, if you have children, your children. Again, no matter what you believe, there are some things that are across the board. And it tells us we affect our generations. So just be mindful of that. And remember, abundantly, not just money, health, peace, rest. God bless you.